Hello and welcome to episode 581 of Fergo and the Freak. I'm that bloke from Rugby League Project, Andrew Ferguson. You can find me on Twitter at AndrewRLP. Join me as always as the glorious LeagueFreak. You can also find on Twitter at LeagueFreak. How you going there, mate?
I'm going very well, Andrew. I hope all of our listeners are well. I'm very excited because we're doing our season preview, and I've been looking forward to this podcast, and I'm looking forward to the season, and I've just watched so much footy on the weekend, and I'm just pumped for it all.
That sounds fantastic. Well, as you said, we are doing our season preview, so this thing's going to be a standard whopper of an episode because that's what we like to do.
Fuck yeah.
We don't fuck around. So shall we dive straight on in? Are we going to do this in alphabetical order, you reckon?
Yeah, I reckon alphabetical order is a good way to do it because that way, if you're listening and you just want to hear your club, you can kind of fast forward to wherever you want to be at, you know?
That's... We could do. I mean, if that's the case, we probably could do timestamps. But you know what? No.
When you say we could do timestamps, you mean me at 3:30 this morning, sitting down and putting in timestamps?
Not 3:30, maybe 3:15. You might finish at 3:30. All right. Well, let's get cracking then. We'll start off on the Brisbane Broncos, and after they fell short of premiership glory in 2023 and then completely just fell off the map in 2024, you can be forgiven for thinking the Broncos were going to have a bit of a mid-season last year, but they ended up going all the way through and by the time the finals came around, they were just on a fucking roll. And I think the last time we saw a team just hit form that emphatically and just go all the way through and no one expected them to do as well as they did was probably the Tigers in 2005.
Yeah.
Just came from nowhere and just had a rocket on them, and no one was stopping them. And they went through all of the top teams you want to go through in the finals. I think they beat the minor premiers, they beat the defending premiers, and then they won the grand final against Melbourne Storm. Like you're going to do it the hard way. That's a legit premiership victory right there.
Yeah, they didn't. Win a Bradbury or anything like that. They did it the hard way. And, looking towards this season, they haven't really lost any key players, which is huge for them. And I think that they're going to get so much out of that premiership run as well. I think that we're going to see Reece Walsh be a lot more consistent going forward now. It feels like his career really turned a corner during that final series. We know he's a game winner. So it's going to be really interesting to see how they handle being the team that everyone gets up for every single week. And I think between that and Origin as well, it's going to be a pretty big grind on the team. But they've got the depth to do it. They've got a fantastic forward pack. They've got a lot of depth in their halves, funnily enough, which I think is, I was very skeptical of that last year, that their halves would survive. And funnily enough, they survived until the last 20 minutes of that match, and then they started having to replace their halves, but they got through, they won. And, it's hard to not see them being the marker again this year, as the team to beat, really well set up to be a defending premier.
Absolutely. So speaking of gains and losses, they've picked up, just three players: Grant Anderson from the Storm, Tom Duffy from the Cowboys, and Albrecht Tower from the Dolphins. And they've lost a bunch of depth players, one of whom is Kobe Black, who's going to Canberra, who's a young halfback. And there's big raps on him. So losing him when they've got two halves who are probably about to retire, if not at the end of this year, at the end of next year. I know Reynolds has already said I think he's retiring at the end of this year. Is that right?
Yeah, Reynolds at the end of this year for certain. I haven't heard anything else in terms of
Ben Hunt.
Yeah, Ben Hunt. But the thing to remember about them too is they've got Ezra Mam that they can bring into the team, and so you've got at least three halves there that you can cycle through and hope that two of them are going to be fine.
And they've got haven't they got someone coming from, what's his name?
Pizzette, is that his
that's
name?
it. Yeah,
from Parramatta. He's going to be there next year, and he'll obviously be who they chuck into that halfback role when Reynolds retires. But yeah, they're just really well placed to. Normally when you're a premiership winner, you lose at least one or two key players. They really haven't lost any key players, which is huge.
They've only lost two regular first grades. That's Selwyn Cobbo and Kobe Hetherington.
Yeah. And look, Cobbo, I think that might be an addition by subtraction. He did have some great games, but there were too many games where he was sort of just all right,
Yeah.
And they've got really good depth in their outside backs anyway. So
yeah, they're going to be very strong this year. I think they will though see that this year is probably a year they should be winning a premiership as well. Because as the news has come out, Payne Haas will be leaving the club at the end of the year to go to South. So if they're losing at the end of this year, potentially Ben Hunt, Adam Reynolds, Payne Haas, that's three pretty key players that have been there for a while there now.
Yeah, that's all of a sudden that's a big chunk of your side gone. A lot of experience. So they'll have to deal with that. And that's what you normally get when you win a premiership. So it's good that they've at least got 1 year where they can avoid that. They can give the title defence a good shake before next year.
Absolutely. Any other thoughts on the Broncos?
I'm really interested to see how Reece Walsh's game continues to improve. I think that it'd be amazing to see him continue that form from the final series through the whole season. Being a truly great player and like what he did in last year's final series was truly great. Like as good as any player has ever done ever. Incredible. If he can continue that sort of thing and bring consistency to his game and he has a level of leadership amongst those Broncos players anyway. If he can do that, it would be just a sight to behold. And that's, to me, is what I'm going to be watching the Broncos games for this year and being excited about, is hoping that we see this young dude he's got a level of ability that we've always known about. But if he can go from being a great player, like a really great player, to one of the greats, man, that would be just so exciting to watch. Because when you watch that happen to a player and you're like, I'm not just watching it, like, it's the difference between, say, a Brett Mullins in 94, very, very good player, had a great season. It's the difference between him and like watching, like as we've watched, say, a Nathan Cleary over the last few years, where it's like, okay, he's a good halfback. Oh my God, he's doing great things. Oh my God, he's part of history now. That's what I want to see out of Reece Walsh. I want to see Reece Walsh be one of the markers in rugby league's history going forward.
Fully agree. I also think this year, Ezra Mam, to put it kindly, needs to pull his fucking finger out. So he had all that drama off the field at the start of last season, and it completely killed off all the momentum he had from a really strong year the previous few years. To the point where he'll probably at best be on the bench rotation this year. He needs to start putting in some good performances wherever he can and force Ben Hunt, especially out of that 5/8 role. That's what he's got to do. Yeah,
he needs to make it his position again. And I think he can. He's got the ability. He's got the ability. But it's the application. That's what it comes down to with him. And we'll see. You can never tell with that sort of thing.
That's exactly right. All right, next one is Canberra.
Man.
Last year they got their first minor premiership since 1990. But it was all for nothing given that they bowed out in the finals in straight sets. They've actually, how's this? I've got this final stat. They've now won just 8 of their last 25 finals games going back to the year 2000.
Wow. That's crazy. It's weird. Nobody believes in them. Why does no one believe in them?
I know, right? So they've picked up Kobe Black, Jaden Brayley, Sione Finau, and Dane Laurie. Basically, a few depth players.
Yeah.
And I think they're probably going to go all out on Kobe Black in the hope that he'll be their starting halfback who they'll have all year. They've now got just an absolute massive depth of hookers at the club because they've got Tom Starling, Owen Paddy, and now they've got Jaden Brayley as well. I don't know what they're playing at there.
Yeah.
I don't know. Their spine worries me a little bit because Kyle Weeks got kind of thrown into the fullback role last year and did bloody well. Don't get me wrong. And Ethan Strange had a great season, but you've now got a halfback who's going to be on debut in a club he's never been at before, and 3 hookers who you're going to be trying to rotate through that side all year. It just starts looking a bit messy.
Yeah, and I mean, you've got a coach that's telling them all that they're already great, and that
and that it's never their fault.
Yeah, it's never their fault, and everything they do is amazing. And when they lose it's actually somebody screwing them out of it, and it just gives them a relief valve to fail. I think everybody that's listened to the podcast a long time knows what we both think about the Raiders. My thoughts don't change on them at all this year. The coach is an absolute failure, so that's going to hold them back. They've got quite a bit of youth, but it doesn't matter when the coach is freaking out all the time. Like, that's the last thing you want for a young team. And the way that they went out in the finals last year, I mean, they talked so much about where they're at and what they'd achieved, and then to go out the way they did on their own home soil in Canberra. I just don't rate them at all as a premiership threat. I didn't last year, even as they were running away with the minor premiership, and I just feel the same way about them this year. I think they'll have a much tougher regular season though than last year.
I'll be surprised if they make the finals this year.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Wow.
I don't think you can go into a season with an unstable spine, and that's what they're going to have. Because this is the thing, okay? They can either have an attacking spine with Starling in there, or they can have a defensive one with Brayley in there. They can go with a more balanced one in Paddy there. And I think Ricky Stewart will be, as he always has been, a victim of his own overthinking processes. He's kind of like the Ferrari F1 strategy team. Constantly looking for that genius play, but every time he does it, it's a complete debacle.
Fucks it right up, yeah.
And I think he's going to try and outsmart himself eventually here by thinking I've now got 3 different hookers for 3 different styles of play depending on who my opponent is. And that's not going to work, because if you're trying to play to what your opponent does, you're playing into their hands. You need to be playing your style and make them play your game.
Yeah, look, it's so funny to hear you talking about this, because when they got the third hooker, and that's a lot of money wrapped up in your hookers, I was thinking about a joke to make then. Sorry. I was thinking the same thing you were thinking, in terms of, like, this isn't a mistake. So what is the thinking behind having all of these 3 rotation hookers? Because 2 of them I understand.
Yeah, everyone does 2 hookers.
3 of them is ridiculous. And I would like to know how that's going to work out. And I agree. It's probably Ricky Stewart with some grand plan. He's worked it out. He's worked it all out, boys.
He's playing 60 chess while everyone else is playing, Connect 4.
Yeah, exactly. I have the Raiders making the finals. I had the Broncos winning the minor premiership. I have them in first place. I have the Raiders in 6th by the end of the season.
I think they'll be 9th.
Okay. That's interesting. You could make an argument that they would have the same sort of after effect that the Broncos had in 2024, where you sort of thought, okay, they had a big disappointment the next year. They should learn from that, and then it just didn't work out. They sort of tanked. You could say that happening with the Raiders, I guess, but I have them in 6th by the end of the year.
Like I said, we actually do this position thing every year. We should probably review it 1 year, see how close we went.
Yeah, we should.
All right, next team is the Bulldogs. Man, they had a genuine season of, and this is going to be a brilliant play on words.
Mm-hmm.
They had a season of 2 halves. Let that sink in. That's fucking genius.
If only there was some sort of catalyst we could point towards what changed in their team.
It basically proves the point I just made about Canberra. And that is, as soon as you start fucking around with the spine, it throws the complete balance of the team out.
Yeah.
And they brought Galvin in midway through the season, and they went from being this defensively stingy team who you just struggled to score points against.
Mm-hmm.
And a team that could score whenever it felt like it. They weren't running up massive scores. They were constantly playing the game and controlling the game without going crazy on scoreboard. But if they needed to score points, they could put them on whenever they needed to. They just had such a good control of game management.
Mm-hmm.
And then Galvin came in and they didn't know where to put him. They were playing him out of position essentially for a while. Then they start moving him around to try and make him feel more comfortable. And they're trying to make everything about the way they play evolve around one player who wasn't there at the start of the year. So you're trying to make 18 or 16 other guys all play to this stranger. And it was just a backwards concept, and they fell apart hard in the second half of the season. They won 9 of 11 games to start the year, and they won 7 of their last 13 for the rest of the season before the finals, where they lost both of those as well. So with Galvin, it was 7 of 15.
See, this is, and the thing that is important about his addition is this. This time last year, the Bulldogs were putting together their season, and they had no idea that Galvin was on the way. We're looking at them this season, and we have no idea who's going to be in their team by the end of the year. And that's a problem.
Yeah.
And this comes down to when you treat the team like it's a fantasy rugby league team, as Full Good does. You just grab whoever you can without any idea of how to make it all fit together. And you could say, well, that's the coach's job. And it's like, that's good, all good. But when you have a 5'8" that you spend a lot of money on in Matt Burton, and then you bring in another 5'8" you spend a lot of money on in Galvin, that's a problem,
Yes.
I look at this team and there's talent there, but I don't think that I see the cohesion of a football team that makes sense. And that's the problem.
This is the problem. So I don't quite know how they're going to go when it comes to scoring points this year. Defensively, they're still elite, especially on the edges of the ruck and going wide of the ruck. Their second rowers and their centres are just elite, really, defensively. They're going to be fine there. But you've now got 2 5'8", no halfback, and Reid Mahoney, their hooker, is also not at the club anymore.
Yeah.
So it's likely Bailey Hayward will be coming into the side there. Again, the spine cohesion is all out of whack. They're kind of starting from scratch all over again.
Yeah.
And it's just not a great thing to be doing all the time.
Yeah, exactly. And look, I have them finishing 4th because their defense is good, and I think that they'll have a decent regular season. But it's so messy, and I just don't like the way it looks. And look, they might figure it out, but I don't think Galvin's a halfback. I don't think you can turn him into a halfback. I think him and Matt Burton are basically so similar in terms of how they're running, they're ball running 5'8". Burton's a bigger, more powerful ball runner, but they basically play the same role. And I just don't see how you can shoehorn all of that into an attack that is not going to be able to be shut down when it matters by the really, really top sides.
Do you know who agrees with you?
Who?
Cameron Ciraldo. You know why?
Why?
2 of the signings they made in the off-season are halfbacks, Cade Dykes and Sean O'Sullivan.
Yeah, look, and Dykes, I mean, Dykes is is coming off of some really bad injuries and, is a very good young player that just ran into some terrible injury luck. We'll see how he goes. O'Sullivan's a handy halfback to have. We saw how he went at the Panthers. I don't know that he is a week in, week out starting halfback, but it's better than not having a halfback. And the problem is, if you put him in at halfback, then you've got to have Galvin or Burton out of position. It's not right. I don't like how it looks. And I'm not saying they're going to be bad this year, because they're not. They're going to be good. But you've got to fine-tune this shit to win a premiership.
I wouldn't be surprised if at some point in the year, if things are going bad for the Bulldogs, I wouldn't be surprised if Burton gets tried at fullback.
Oh, yeah, or centre in the centres even.
I think Crichton and Cherry will stay at centre. I think unless one of them gets injured, I think they might see if they can try Burton at fullback. And just so they can free him up in the play a bit more and give Galvin the 5'8" spot and then put an actual halfback in the side. But
how do you think they're going to go in June when Ezra Mam joins the team immediately?
See, I don't think they're going to have the cash for Ezra Mam. I think the player they're going to pick up in June is going to be Luke Brooks.
Oh, can you? Oh my God! Don't. Oh my God, that would be crazy. Hey,
it would be. Yeah, they've also picked up Leo Thompson, front row from the Knights.
Who's out? I think he's out for about 3 months with a torn calf, which is a rotten injury.
Yeah. Basically got rid of some depth players and signed some depth players. So the majority of the squad is unchanged from last year.
And that's good. But what's it going to be mid-season? Or unchanged is great. But, we've seen what happens. That's the thing that really worries me about the Bulldogs.
Well, I'm going to say they're going to finish 7th this year.
Okay. I've got them 4th just on the back of their defence. And they've got, they've still got some of those old Panthers heads in there that know how to get it done. And I think that they'll be good, but I just don't know about when you get to the real pointy end of the season, how they'll go against the elite teams when you've got to be on point.
Yes, that's going to be a real test, that one. Next is the Sharks. Now, since I actually wrote a season preview for the Sharks. Mm-hmm. And what was the term I used? The most successful, unsuccessful team in modern rugby league history.
That's funny.
Actually, I should try and pull that article up and see, because I did have a stat in there. It was basically based around their finals performances.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see, where is it? Here we go. The Sharks are the most successful, unsuccessful team currently in the NRL. They've appeared in 8 of the last 9 finals campaigns. Only the Roosters and Storm have appeared in all of the last 9. Yet they have not returned. They have not returned to grand final day since their maiden title in 2016. In the period 2017 to 2025, the Sharks have won 126 of 212 games, which is 59.43%. Only the Roosters, Penrith, and Melbourne have won at a high win rate in the regular season. But in finals footy, they've won like 20-odd% of games. And it's such a miserable drop-off. They've fallen so hard. And so the one thing, too, that's really impressive about them is their cohesion. It doesn't seem to drop. And that's the reason why their win rate during the regular season, when they play the bulk of their games, is so good. So here's a simple one here, okay? Over the last 4 years, Blake Brayley is the only player in the entire NRL who's played in every single one of the 105 games played by this team. He's played the most games in the last 4 years out of everyone in the NRL. Britton Okora, Cameron McInnes, Ronaldo Mulatalo, Jesse Ramian, Nico Hines, William Kennedy, and Talakai have all played over 90 games as well. Mm-hmm. So that's 8 players who have missed a combined total of just 77 games in 4 years.
Yeah, that's pretty good injury luck.
That's remarkable. So as far as, and the more seasons you play without getting injury, especially when you're in your 20s, your body gets hardened and it gets harder and harder to injure it. And the only thing that's going to injure it really is wear and tear when you get into your 30s.
Yeah.
Which a lot of their players aren't.
Mm-hmm.
So they're still in that peak period. It's what's the term? Premiership window.
Mm-hmm.
They're still right in that. And especially this year, they've made no signings whatsoever. They've lost Daniel Atkinson, the backup halfback, to the Dragons.
Mm-hmm.
Cade Dykes, the backup half, to the Bulldogs. That's it. This side is the most unchanged side we've seen at the start of a season going around. So they have, and this is the most important thing that they need to hear, zero fucking excuses for a shit season.
Nobody believes in them. I don't understand why. I think that their season is going to be almost a copy paste of last year. I think that they're going to be really solid. They're going to win a lot of games. They're never going to really look like a premiership contender, but they're going to be. I've got them finishing 5th on my ladder, and it's mainly because I think that there's going to be a bit more. I mean, like there's going to be a bit of movement above them. I don't think they're going to be any worse than last year. But I don't see him as a true premiership contender, unfortunately.
I think last year was their best finals performance since 2016.
Yep.
Because they weren't flogged, and they were very impressive in their 2 lead-up games, which they won.
And the other thing is too, you could see room for improvement as well.
Yeah.
In their finals their finals campaign, you could look at their team and say, like, the areas that they did really good in, and like if they had got more out of fullback in Kennedy, like he was really bad in the finals. You could see areas that they could really improve on, which in the past, I think that in their finals campaigns, you didn't see where they could improve on dramatically in certain areas,
That's right.
They'd sort of hit their peak. You knew that was their best.
Yeah. And I think, I genuinely think that they will finish 2nd this year.
Mm-hmm.
But I think it'll be another season where they get to the prelims. They get to the final 4 and then they fall short. There'll be a close loss in the final, the week before the grand final, and they'll be out again.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I feel the same way.
So they've got a brilliant forward pack. The only weak points are it's going to be Kennedy at fullback, and I believe he's off contract at the end of this season. I wouldn't be surprised if the Sharks let him go because they've got a very talented young fullback in Liam Ison waiting to come in.
Mm-hmm.
And so I wouldn't be surprised if Kennedy's allowed to leave at the end of the year.
Yeah.
And I think Jesse Ramian might be, I don't know. I haven't seen much improvement in him in the last few years. I wouldn't be surprised if they let him go and look at other offers elsewhere.
Yeah.
Because they've also got, some other young centres and stuff coming through as well. I would really like to see them switch Hines and Trindle around and have Hines at 5'8". I think if Hines has less ball, he plays better.
The good thing about Hines is he played really well in the finals, which was great to see.
He did.
He kind of got that monkey off his back.
Yes.
I think the problem is if Trindle has any time out, it's going to really hurt them. He's their key. He's the key to the whole team.
He is, but I think he's a better organiser than Hines.
Yeah, 100%.
And, I mean, we said it last year. Brayley needs to run every fucking week, not just for a month.
Yeah.
Because that month that he was running football before the finals last year, he was fucking untouchable. Mm-hmm. And then he put it away when the finals came around. It's like, what'd you stop for?
Yeah, I think there was definitely some game planning by opposition teams around that.
A little bit.
They managed to overcome it to a certain extent to get as far as they did, but
he did put it to bed a little bit though. There were opportunities when he could have ran and he passed the ball instead. And I mean, you could say, you know what, he's not a selfish player, but you know what, when you're playing in that role and he's being pushed forward as the captain, you got to start backing yourself there and running a little bit more, especially when you know it works and it helps the team's attack so much.
Yeah.
So he's got to do that. But yeah, they've got a very strong side and good forward depth off the bench as well. So I expect them to go well. Next is the Dolphins. And after a few years of choking in the second half of the season, they unlocked their attack like holy fuck last year. They averaged 30 points per game. They had the best attack at the end of the regular season. No one come near them. They need to make sure they get that going as quickly as possible and keep going all year. I don't think their defense is finals quality good enough at this stage.
No.
But if they can keep scoring points and keep that scoreboard pressure on their opposition sides, it's going to help their defense a little bit. Because that's all it's going to take. They've lost a bunch of players.
Mm-hmm.
So they've brought in Selwyn Cobbo, Morgan Knowles, Brad Schneider, and Sebastian Sewer. They've lost Kenny Bromwich, Max VNI, Harrison Graham, Peter Holler, Ryan Jackson, Josh Kerr, Mark Nichols, Sean O'Sullivan, Alblix Tower, Mason Teague, Junior Tupou, James Walsh, and Michael Wanga. A lot of depth. Yeah.
And like no one there that's devastating to lose, which is okay. No. And I think that this is also one of those things where it's because of the development of their overall time in the NRL. You're going to see those sorts of clean outs, and especially as their own junior development system replaces those players that they kind of had to bring in to start their NRL club. I tend to think that they're going to have a similar season to what they had last year, where they look pretty good. You know, there are times when they look really good. I have them finishing 10th though this year, and that's seeing them improve just a little bit. You know, Katoa I think he's the third best halfback in the game, behind Hughes and Cleary, but I think he's clearly the third best. I think there's a bit of a drop down from him to Moses. It's going to be interesting to see how his season goes, because he is a young halfback that's developing very, very quickly. He's way ahead of schedule of most halfbacks ever. And so it's going to be really exciting to see how he goes. But I just think that depth will be an issue once again. And that's fine, because they're a new team in the NRL still. It takes a long time to get that depth. Took Penrith 15 years to get some depth. But I think it'll be a bit of a similar sort of finish to them as last year, in that they're really good, and on their day they look great. But to get into that top 8 is so difficult, especially this year. And I just think they're going to just fall a bit short of that. And I'm talking last couple of weeks. I think it's going to be that close for them.
Yeah, I fully agree. I also had them down as 10th. But a close 10th. I think maybe equal on points with 8th, but points difference might put them out or something like that.
Yeah. I have a similar thing for me. It's just it's just that close, and it's just kind of like last year.
Yeah. Next up is the Titans, and they've got Justin Holbrook as their coach.
No, they got
they replaced Justin Holbrook with Des Hasler. They got Josh Hannay.
Yeah.
That's right. Hannay's not a bad coach. He's a probably more of a defensive-minded coach, which is not a bad thing for the Titans. That's what they definitely need to work on.
Mm-hmm.
They've brought in Max VNI, Lachlan Elias, Curtis Morin, and Luke Summerton, and they've let go a bunch of players.
Mm-hmm.
Regan Campbell-Gillard, Isaac Farmasul-Malloy, David Fafita, Kieran Foran, Ryan Foran, Carter Gordon, Brian Kelly, Alofiana Khan-Pereira, Sean Mullaney, Harley Smith-Shields, Ryan Sutton, and Tom Weaver. Some big-name players and a lot of depth players. And you know what? They needed a clean-out of anybody and everybody.
Yeah, it was good. There's not one name there that you look at and you're like, oh, man, get rid of them. You know, I think that Hannay, he come in, he did a big clean-out. I have them winning the wooden spoon, but it's a positive wooden spoon. It's not like oh my God, this team's going nowhere wooden spoon. It's we cleared everyone out. We've got to see what we've got now. We've got to look towards the future. There's so many players left. It's going to be difficult for them. Even if they had kept the best players from that list, I would have still had them finishing probably bottom two.
Yeah.
I think I have them winning the wooden spoon, but at least there's something happening there now.
It's a wooden spoon where they've hit rock bottom, and they hit rock bottom last year. This is the first year of turning the shit around.
Mm-hmm.
Tell you what, though, they've built themselves a pretty solid spine to work forward with, because I have Brimson, Campbell, Ilias, and Verrills most likely as a starting spine. Pretty handy. Backline is a bit, three-quarter line, bit iffy. Forward pack's pretty solid. I wouldn't be surprised if Tino moves into prop this year.
Yeah, re-signing Tino is huge for them.
Oh, massive.
And keeping Bai as well, because Bai looks like a really good young player. So at least they can look towards having, that you could end up with two elite forwards there. And Tino's Tino might be the best forward in the game. It's just one of those seasons where you would rather it be like this than what it was last year, where you had just this team full of crap that had done nothing and you were sticking with them. You'd rather get rid of a bunch of dead wood out of a team, see what you've got, bring in some juniors here and there. You've got a coach with a new vision for the team and we'll see what happens. But I have them winning the wooden spoon, but it's not a bad thing. I think it's at least you can look at it and say, well, they're moving forwards now from here.
I'm just thinking out loud here too. Isn't it amazing how nearly every single club understands that sometimes a wooden spoon is just something you have to get as part of turning a club around and going through a rebuild.
Yeah.
Except for the West Tigers.
Yeah. Yeah, it's weird. I remember...
Rebuild? What rebuild? We're on track.
The worst place to be is treading water with this shit team.
Yes.
And look, Penrith had that with Matthew Elliott. We had a shit team. We were treading water. And the problem with that is you get close enough that everybody is there that can justify their jobs. When you bottom out completely, and it's not good to bottom out. You don't want to bottom out, but when you're bad and you bottom out and there's a big clean out, everyone goes, it's a good thing because you can try and start again. And the problem happens when you bottom out and you don't start again, like the West Tigers did.
Yeah, you just bottom out harder.
Yeah.
I'm the same. I've got the Titans coming last. I don't think that's going to be, like you said, I think it's going to be a miserable last. I wouldn't be surprised if a lot of young players get opportunities this year and they find a lot of good young talent out there as well.
Yeah. And that's a fun thing it's not fun when you're losing games. But when you're losing games and you can see youngsters come into the side and you're like, oh, this guy might have a little bit of something, that's something to look forward to and at least turn up to games and watch every weekend.
Yes. Now, the next one is Manly. They were possibly the most inconsistent side last year. I'm good with these contradictions of terms.
You're nailing it. What the fuck?
Because they'd beat some elite side and lap them, and then they'd lose to a couple of dog sides for a few weeks in a row. Like, what the hell was that?
Yeah.
I had no idea what was going on. The big problem they're going to have, though, is nearly everything that this club has done for the last decade at least has evolved around Daly Cherry Evans, and he's not there this year. And they're replacing with Jamal Fogarty, who's he's a solid enough halfback.
Look, any time that you can sign a halfback that's got a losing career record and his finals record is absolutely fucking abysmal, you've got to do it.
Especially if you're going to pair him with Luke Brooks.
Yeah. Like, I would love for them to make the finals just to see like a wormhole appear in the middle of the field because those two are running out next to each other.
It'd be an inverse black hole.
Yeah. Maybe they'd win. Imagine if they just, for whatever reason, it worked.
You
And
black
they just
lump.
were amazing. It's like, let's put fucking, Jason Taylor out there in the halves and see, oh my God, they're unstoppable in the finals.
Well, this one of these sides have got a pretty decent 3/4 line, pretty decent forward pack.
Yeah, they've got some real good forwards.
And then the spine you look at and you're going, because Tom Trbojevic is great when he's on the field.
Yeah, it'd be cool if he played footy, hey.
And
he'd be a great footy player.
Brooks and Fogarty, they've just career of inconsistency around both of them, and putting that together just feels horrible. And then Jake Simpkin is likely going to be the hooker. He's a solid enough hooker, a very consistent player. But yeah, other than that, I don't have much hope for Manly this year. They've brought in, as I said, Fogarty, Kobe Hetherington, and Blake Wilson from the Dogs. They've lost a bunch of players: Josh Alloway, Gordon Chan Kum Tong, Michael Cheekham, Daly Cherry Evans, Lachlan Croker, Matt Lodge, Dean Madison, Toff Sipley, Tommy Talau, Jazz Tavunga, and Raymond Tuamilo Vega.
He was my favourite character in Street Fighter.
Yeah, I love
not really. It was Guile. I have them finishing 15th.
Yeah, I had him at 14.
It's weird. We did not talk at all about our where we had teams finishing. It's interesting that they've been pretty consistent so far outside of the Raiders.
Yeah. Next up is the Storm. In the last 10 years, they have reached 6 grand finals, but have only won 2 of them. It's starting to make you wonder if maybe they're starting to give a choke about them.
I don't know that they've choked in a grand final yet.
It's hard to call it a choke when you make 6 out of 10 grand finals.
Yeah. It's the same thing like when the Broncos lost that grand final in 2023. That wasn't a choke.
No. You got beat by something elite.
Yeah, there was a force of nature happened, So, yeah, I think what they miss is they do everything very, very well. I don't know that they do anything elite. And I think that's the thing with them. They also, Hughes had injury problems last year. It's pretty incredible that they did so well and then they got him back, but it was like, it's difficult to feed him back into the team that late.
Yeah.
And they've lost Pappenhausen this year, who's taken time off because
apparently he's retired.
Yeah, he's watch him return at some point.
I don't think though the Pappenhausen loss hurts him.
No,
they got young Fa'alonga who's going to come in. He's a different type of player, but he's going to be fine. I think the problem they've got is their forwards are starting to get very, very thin on depth. Yeah, like crazy thin on depth.
I believe that they released Kamikamitha in the pretty soon after the grand final, but then re-signed him.
I wouldn't be surprised. They are struggling.
Yeah.
So they've picked up Jack Hetherington, Davey Moali, Hosea Pahulu, Trent Toalau, and Mania Waiteri, and they've lost Green Anderson, Nelson Asfa-Solomona, Bronson Garlick, Dean Iorama or Dioramia, I don't know how to pronounce that one, Ryan Pappenhausen, and Jonah Pezzett. They're starting to get a bit light on in the forwards. And not just any forwards, front row forwards as well.
Yeah, and I think that because now we're talking about the pointy end of the competition, I think they're going to. I have them finishing second, only behind the Broncos in terms of the regular season. I think the problem that they have is that the Broncos forward pack and the Panthers forward pack is not concerned with the Melbourne Storm forward pack.
No.
And at this point when you're talking about at this point of the table, that's all it takes, So I think they're going to be really good. If I had to put money on it right now, I would say the Storm going to make the grand final again. but I would have 2 teams beating them in the grand final at least.
Yeah, look, I'm going to have them finishing 4th this year.
Okay.
And I think they will get to the prelim again.
Mm-hmm.
I like as a minimum, but I'd be surprised if they advance past the prelim. I just think that forward depth is going to hurt them later on.
Yeah. And I guess the other thing is too, like, you know, they had the injury to Hughes and they were lucky to have a really good backup halfback last year to step in and keep them going straight. I think that they've lost a little bit of depth and they can't really carry too many injuries like that this year.
No, they definitely
but
can't.
Having said that, it's the Storm. We know what they're like. They get an injury and you think that they're in trouble, and then they unearth some, you know, future international.
Just get them off the conveyor belt out the back.
Yeah.
Phenomenal like that. The Knights.
Oh boy.
After back-to-back finals appearances in 2023-24, I would be surprised if a lot of Knights fans thought, you know what, we might sneak in again in 2025. And instead, they were treated to possibly the most one-dimensional, flat, boring attacking side's entire competition. What's the stat I got here? Since 1992, only their 2016 campaign saw the Knights attack worse as far as points scored per game. That's how bad 2025 was.
Yeah, they were completely inept. And I actually watched them this weekend in the trials, and it looked very, very similar. It looked like it was like you're watching the game and you're like, okay, you know, they're not scoring, that's fine. It's just a trial. And then as the game went on, you were like, oh, this feels very familiar. I have them finishing 16th.
Likewise.
Yeah, I don't think the change of coach is going to do anything big. You know, I don't rate Holbrook.
I certainly don't rate Holbrook at all.
Yeah.
They're going to have a few issues this year, and still it's going to be around who's in their halves. Because as much as they've picked up Dylan Brown, he's just going to go into 5'8". Does Tyson Gamble go to halfback?
I don't know. Like, you know, and the other thing is too, and by the way, this is kind of crazy. In 2035, Brown is going to be coming off contract in a year from now. Which is crazy. Good luck to him. He's got the anti-Zach Lomax manager, I guess.
That's true.
But it's weird when you think about it like that. They've also got like they just look like a bits and pieces team, you know. And you can look at their lineup and you can say, well, this player's handy, that player looks handy, and stuff like that. None of it matters until they put something together. And they've just proven they can't put things together. Kalyn Ponga is, at this point, like, poor bugger's a part-time footballer. Like,
he's a shadow of himself.
Yeah, and like when he goes out there and he plays, he's handy for them. But, you know, he's just not available enough, especially on how much money he's on. And they kind of need players to be there. They can't be a bits and pieces team. We've got this dude that can come in and make a difference, but he's rarely there. It's hard to build something when that's what you're trying to build upon.
I was going to say too, like they're back five, like they're fully fit back five. Ponga, Marju, Best, Gagai, Young. It's not shit.
It's not terrible.
You know?
No,
and all very good attacking ball runners.
Yep,
they should have points in them.
Yeah.
That's what I don't get. There's fucking points galore in that back five. They can score from anywhere. Strong ball runners, strong kick return, good skills, and hardly score points. Their pack is...
well, it sucks.
It
fucking
great.
Sucks. Yeah. And like you look at their back five. When you think about what they did last year, it was just, you know, basically rucking it out from their own 20. That's when they were getting most of their yards. They rarely got any good ball. It looks like Bradman Best has dropped a bit of weight, which is good. He looks really fit. He doesn't look like he's carrying extra bulk, which is great. So we'll see how that goes for him. Hopefully it fixes some of his injury concerns because he's not carrying as much weight.
Yep.
But yeah, I've only got the Titans below them. I've got them finishing 16th, and the only thing that Knights fans can look forward to this year is hopefully they make a couple of good signings going forward or something.
They need to clean out their forwards.
Yeah. They recently did a deal where they expanded their junior development base up through northern New South Wales. So it's going to be interesting to see how that affects the club over time. But the problem with the Knights is they're not good at taking their best juniors and turning them into elite players. They just sort of okay first graders for the most part. So that worries me.
They kind of hope for the best.
Yeah.
We'll throw a jumper on you and see what you can do.
Yeah. And there's very rarely much development beyond that.
Yeah. They need to sort out what they're doing with their halfback. I'm going to assume they'll be running with Gamble at halfback and Crossland at hooker. But yeah, their forwards they need work. It's looking like they might have Tyson Frizzell and Jacob Saifidi as their starting props.
Yeah.
Man,
and they're going to miss Saifidi when Matty Johns puts him into the New South Wales team.
Lock it in. 4 weeks.
Yeah.
He's out. Next is the Cowboys. And I think of all the teams last year, they were the most disappointing team to watch.
Yeah.
Because I expected so much more from them. And all I saw was them getting gradually worse and more fucking infuriating to watch every week. And I'm not a fan of theirs. So I can't imagine what it was like for Cowboys fans watching that side and the dross they turned up for the second half of the season especially. Yeah. Defense as well was just, it lacked application. There's hardly any structure to it. There wasn't much teamwork to it. It reminded me a bit of the Tigers from about 2 to 3 years ago.
Yeah, and like their coach, Todd Payton, he took over a team which is pretty good. You go through, there's a lot of internationals, a lot of state of origin players in that team. And they have progressively got slowly worse during his time there. I was surprised they didn't sack him at the end of the year. I wonder if they are holding out for maybe a better candidate to come along. Because a lot of the coaching candidates that were available at the end of last year were abysmal. But yeah, I've got no hope for them this year. A lot of great players. Their recruitments have been very strange in not only, the players that they recruited, but some of the coaching that they recruited for their backroom staff. Fucking ridiculous recruitments. And I have them finished in 14th place. I think it'll be very similar to last year.
Yeah, I've got them 13th. Pretty similar. I wouldn't be surprised if Payton has a shit season and can't get them into the top 8. I wouldn't be surprised if he's sacked, if not at the end of the year, before then. He's going to have the media on his ass all year about it too. And you look at who they've signed. I mean, Reid Mahoney's their good signing.
Yep. Good one.
Yeah. They also picked up Matt Lodge. Why? Why? Just why?
Yeah.
So yeah,
they got Paul Wellens as an assistant coach. Like, what the fuck, man?
I tell you what, if they want to keep persevering with John Bateman in the side, put him on the bench, please. He needs less minutes, not more. No, I wouldn't have him in there at all.
No.
I haven't seen him do anything since he stopped wearing a green jumper. That's all it is. Has he played a good game of football since leaving Canberra?
No.
There you go.
And keep in mind he was playing for the Raiders and they get to grand final week and he starts fucking making, problems for the team in grand final week. It's like, fuck off.
Yeah. Yeah, problematic.
Yeah.
Next is Parramatta. And I'm a bit uncertain about Parramatta because they're a far better team than from where they finished last year. And the way they ended the season is much more consistent with how I expected them to perform for the majority of the year.
Mm-hmm.
They won 5 of their last 7 games. And in that, they beat the Broncos, they beat the Roosters, they beat the Warriors. And then they put 60 points on the Knights in the final game of the year. So, when they come against a team who they should have put away, they fucking delivered.
Mm-hmm.
That's more of what I expect. So a lot of what they do, though, does revolve around whether Moses is fit.
Yeah.
That's a problem.
He's 1 year older. Look, I think at least they've got, they bottomed out. They did their bottoming out. They did their big clean out. Rolls has vision for the team. He's putting it in place. You could see it starting to work towards the end of last year, which was good. Zach Lomax owes them $200,000, but that's beside the point. I think that they'll go all right. I think there'll be positive signs there. I haven't finished in 11th.
That's exactly where I've got them.
No way. This is so weird. This is fucking crazy.
Yeah.
But I think it'll be a positive year for the Eels, but it's definitely a development year and an in-between year, and they'll be looking to maybe get some more juniors in, blood some more of their own juniors this season, and maybe get a signing or two because they'll have a bit of spare cash to spend. So it's going to be an interesting year for the Eels. I think they'll be actually really fun to watch. And I think that we're going to have some games where, we watch the Eels play some of the top teams and we're like, oh my God, how good was that game? But they'll just won't have quite the depth or the experience to win those extra games that would normally get you into the top 8.
Yeah, I think they're definitely going to be one of those teams they're going to wreck other teams' seasons.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. And I do see them on the move up. I think if they can do some good recruitment at the end of or during this year and the end of this year, they are positioned pretty well to get back into the finals next year.
Mm-hmm.
So I do see them improving a fair bit though. Next is Penrith.
Mm-hmm.
Man, an absolute dog shit season for last year.
You kind of forget it until you look back on it and you're like, holy shit,
They got off to an atrocious start. They clawed themselves back into the finals, just finished 7th, and then just were elite again in the final. Someone just turned the switch on. And just narrowly missed out on another grand final. It was a brilliant recovery.
Yep.
But I do think that maybe there's a little bit more to it than just, they're just a few changes to the roster just caused them to get off to a slow start. It does make you wonder if maybe there was a little bit more at play. Because once they did get cohesive and back working again, they still just fell short in a game when they were so used to you just roll out another win. So that could just be down to the fact that the Talangi-Cleary partnership was new. Maybe it's a lot stronger this year and they get better. I do have them reaching the Final Four at least. I've got them finishing 3rd this year.
I do too.
They've picked up Tom Ale, Jack Cogger, Kalani Going, and Freddie Lussick, and they've lost Maverick Guy, Dane Laurie, Brad Schneider, Luke Summerton, and Trent Toalau.
Yeah, I don't mind their losses. I think that there were some players there that you kind of hoped would step up a little bit and didn't quite do it. They bought a lot of forwards from the New Zealand Warriors junior development system over the off season. A lot of them. So, and that's one area where they they were hurting a little bit after a few years of other teams sort of picking up players here and there, was their forward depth. Hopefully that's fixed a little bit. I think last year could have and we've seen this from some premiers where especially older premiership winning teams, and Penrith are an old premiership winning team, which is kind of weird, but where they win a premiership and then they have it the next season and they just look busted and tired. I think that a lot of teams would have kept going down the road Penrith were starting the season with, but because they're a younger team and stuff, they managed to turn it around quite a bit. And look, they only lost that finals game up in Brisbane to an epic performance by a Broncos team that was killing it. I think that they probably would have beaten the Storm in the grand final.
Yes.
But who cares? Like, I think who gives a fuck?
They weren't winning that grand final. No one was. It was only Brisbane winning that grand final.
Yeah. Yeah. Like, unbelievable what we saw with Brisbane. I loved it. I fucking loved it so much. I think that the Panthers, they got their first full off season in like 6 years. It's the first time in 6 years where they haven't lost a literal one of the best players in the world from their team. I think that it'll be interesting to see how they come out. I had them finish in third just because I think there is a level about their belief in themselves where they don't feel as though they have to push themselves too hard. They just got to get to the finals, and then that's when it changes for them. But at the same time, I could see a scenario where they come out and we're like, oh, fuck, the Panthers are back. And it's going to be interesting to see how it turns out.
Yeah, I do think they're going to be. I thought they're going to get off to a better start this year. And they're not going to be a team that struggles to get into the top 8 in time. I think they're going to be camped in there all year.
It'll be interesting to see if they have a really good season. And they've got to win 3 games to win their premiership instead of 4. Man, it'd be crazy if they won a premiership this year. Like all of a sudden we're starting to have to get the abacus out again. Where do they rank amongst the best teams ever? We have to start after doing that shit again. Tell you what, it's a nice place to be. I'll say that as Panthers fan, losing a preliminary final off the back of winning 4 straight, and you're coming into a season, and this is the team, and they look pretty fucking good. I'm pretty happy with it, I'll be honest.
I mean, you'll take it.
Oh, yeah.
You'll take it.
It's all right,
All right, next up is the Dragons. The Dragons. And they went and had a massive overhaul of their roster last year. In hope of getting back into the finals, and didn't.
Yep.
They won just 3 of their last 12 games of the year to finish third last.
But they fixed the big problem, the big hole they had in their lineup, didn't they?
Which one?
Well, the one where the halfback was fucking abysmal. They got rid of him, right?
From the 2024, yeah.
Yeah.
They had a new halfback last year. He was great. The one player they did get rid of, which they had to, was Jack DeBellin. I don't know why Parramatta picked him up.
Yeah, I don't get it.
Makes no sense. He should have been in England.
Yeah. The Catalan Dragons player, if ever there was one.
If ever there was Salford. Back. They need him. Both aspects of their game, attack and defence, were almost identical to what they did in 2024. So their attack scored 10 points more in 2024 than it did in 25, and their defence conceded 6 points less last year than the year before. Yet they lost 3 games more last year. That tells you that when you're in the bottom half of the ladder, being stagnant is going backwards. And that's what the Dragons are. They're stagnant.
Yep. And they will not move forward with the current coach. He doesn't want to make the decision that is obvious that needs to be made. He will not make it. They are cursed with him and his son there, and nothing will change while he's there. I have them finishing 12th on my list.
I have them 15th.
Oh, there you go. You've got them quite a bit worse than me.
I can't see what it is that they will deliver on the field that's going to threaten enough teams for them to be much higher than that.
No.
The best they can do, and they won't do this, is they'll put Atkinson in at 5'8", because he does have some good attacking game. They won't put him there.
Yeah.
He'll be playing New South Wales Cup all year.
Well, and if he does come into the side, he'll be blamed for their failures.
Oh, yeah, whipping boy.
Yeah.
Boy.
Like has happened to every single halves partner of Cole Flanagan, who's not a first grader. He just isn't.
No, not even close. And yet they've gone all in on him because I don't think they've got any... Atkinson's probably the only backup for him.
So fucking crazy.
It is. They've got, Lycan King Tongia. He's been solid at 5'8", but he genuinely needs a good controlling experienced halfback around, so that he can have a bit of freedom to run around. He's the sort of guy that would have benefited from being next to someone like Adam Reynolds or Ben Hunt or Dalichir Evans. An experienced old school halfback like that who can just run the game.
Yep.
And he didn't get that.
Yep.
Not even close.
No.
And
let me tell you, as somebody who goes for a club that the coach's son is a halfback, nepotism's the worst.
It's horrible. The only other alternative they've got, and this is a bold concept, okay, but if the Dragons are going to be a genuine attacking force and they want to help Flanagan in the halves as much as possible, and fuck me, they need to, Gutherson at 6.
Yeah, why not? What do they got to lose?
Put Holmes back at fullback because his kick returns are strong. Put him back there. Try and get their attack working somehow. That's what they've got to focus on, because at the moment it is stagnant, it is dull, it is repetitive, and it is easy to defend.
You're in for a tough season when the big talking point is Luciano Leilua lost 12 kilos. That's when you're fucked.
When I was going through this, I actually forgot he was still at the Dragons. Oh, that's right, he's still there, isn't he? Well, maybe he went over to England or something. I didn't. He's just one of those players thought, his time's done, he's gone. Didn't hear about him.
Key player.
Yeah, I hear too they re-signed Damien Cook for another year.
Might as well.
He didn't have a bad year last year, but he was playing very much a sole hand in that side. Yeah,
and you could say, he's an older player now, and you can see the things that he's lost through his age, which is fine. That's everyone retires. Clive Churchill retired. And he's doing pretty good considering. But yeah, he's playing a lone hand.
Yeah. The easiest thing they can do is get the front row rotation, making big meters directly through the middle, not to the edges of the ruck, none of that, right in the middle, and give Cook an opportunity to get in behind the markers and steal meters that way. That's his absolute strength. I can't believe that we've, that's fucking Flanagan. How have we got a coach in the NRL level who cannot see the strengths of the players he's got in his side, his key players, and isn't utilising them? As I said, we can talk about whether we think Holmes is a good fullback or not, but at the end of the day, we can all agree that his kick returns alone are fucking strong.
Yeah.
And they're stronger than what Gutherson does.
Yeah.
And if you get all of your sets off to a good, strong start, it makes so much difference. Your forwards don't have to do that extra slog from deep within their own half. It just makes life a little bit easier for everyone, and you can get on a bit of a roll. And that would help Cook make some meters out of dummy half faster, easier, more progress. They're little things through the middle that the Dragons actually have players in place to do that, and they're not doing it, which is just mind-numbing to me.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Next. Oh, this team just fucks my mind. South Sydney.
It's a rough one.
They're this team that could either finish third or third last. Because on paper, they have a team that can finish third. But on the field, with their performances, they finish third last. And
I've got them in 13th. And that is adding to the fact that Wayne Bennett normally raises the floor on a team. There's a certain level of performance that he gets out of players where they're not terrible. His teams aren't terrible. But I think it's going to be a rough season for South Sydney. Getting Fafita, I know that they got him on a discount, but I don't expect anything out of that. I wouldn't be shocked if by the end of the year we don't consider David Fafita a rugby league player anymore. Is Latrell Mitchell going to play much footy this year? Who knows? What's Jack Whiten going to do? There's just a lot of questions about this South team for me, and I don't know. I just think that they're not going to be all that good this year, and I don't really understand the direction they're going in.
It feels a bit like when Wayne Bennett went to Newcastle.
It really does. It feels like the end of that.
And we have both been very passionate supporters of Latrell Mitchell.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm done. I'm not saying he's bad, but I'm saying right now he's had his opportunity to come out and blow the fucking world apart.
Mm-hmm.
And I've lost interest waiting for it to happen now. So
yeah,
I think if South were smart, at the end of this season, they would be looking to offload Latrell Mitchell, Jack Whiten, Cody Walker, Brandon Smith, David Fafita. If they got rid of those 5 players, they've freed up basically half their fucking salary cap. Go buy whoever the hell you want. But you've got enough good young players in there and still got some experience in there to build a strong team around.
Mm.
And you are handicapping yourself and by having all of these crutches around your side in key positions on the field, and they're either out of form, out of the side because of injury, or just I wouldn't even say out of form when it comes to Fafita, underperforming by such a vast volume that it's almost fucking suspicious.
Yeah.
It's not suspicious. It just looks more like he's just picking up his paycheck.
A Dave Taylor 2.0.
Exactly, 100%. And I know a lot of people are going out there putting David Fafita in the back row for the South on the run-on side. I'm going, no, he's not pushing Tallis Duncan out that side. I fucking love that kid. He's so insanely good. One of my favourite players in the comp.
Yep, I agree.
And he's not pushing Colin Matangi out of the side either.
No.
So Fafita's on the bench where he belongs, if he's lucky. I hope Cameron Murray plays the full season. I hope Campbell Graham's there for the whole season. Jamie Humphries as well. I hope he plays the whole year because I think those are players who are core to the club moving forward, and they need to get right behind them. Other than that, this side it's in transition between this team that looked good on paper 3 years ago and where it shouldn't be now.
That's a really great way to put it. And like I agree with you about Latrell Mitchell. It's you can only affect the game when you play.
Yeah.
And when you're in and out of the side with injuries, and then on top of that you're in and out with suspensions, and then like they got him there to be an elite player, but you don't play finals football. And then when they get to the finals, you don't play finals football. I can't anymore. I've got to. It's not him. It's me. And I just need to move on. I just need to move on. So, and it's tough because, God damn it, I love watching him play.
Oh, likewise.
Round 1. If he is playing at his very best, he's the best player in the world. He just is.
Easy.
And he can win a game all on his own. And it's like him, Reece Walsh, Nathan Cleary. It's not a very long list.
Nope.
Dylan Brooks. Dylan Brooks. I meant Luke Brooks. Dylan Brooks plays for the fucking Phoenix Suns. I'm still transitioning from fucking NBA basketball. People, give me a break.
That's fine.
Yeah. Tell you what, when they get LeBron James back, so yeah, but I can't do it anymore. And I think that's a lot of the problems with South. You know, Jack Whiten was a terrible signing, and that's not his fault. You know, they offered him a contract, they offered him the move, and they got him. But as a team building exercise, it was a really bad move for them. The fact that he played so well and was one of their more important players last year, and it didn't really amount to much of anything, I think says a lot about where the club is at. You know, he's the sort of player you get as a finisher, as a, like, you know, if you added him to, say, for instance, and funnily enough, they'd probably get him as a 5'8". Say he went to the Bulldogs, for instance, you'd be like, ooh, that's a good addition to the Bulldogs. He's going to add a little something to their team, whether he plays fullback or whatever.
Yeah.
But he went to a South side where it's just like, well, what the fuck are they going to do with him?
Well, they didn't have a position for him. They bought him. They went with the old West Tigers approach of buy him first and worry about it later.
Yeah. And so I don't have high hopes for South this year. I think that they're going to be rough. I agree with you, though. I hope Humphreys gets a full season, because last year he looked really good. And he looked like he was going to be able to take the club in a direction, and unfortunately got injured. So we'll see what happens.
Yeah. And look, those names I mentioned before, I wasn't suggesting either that they were playing poorly, except for Brandon Smith. They've all been playing well, but they are getting on in their careers, and they're all on a lot of money. And they're not playing enough games, and that's not helpful.
At some point you got to say where we're at, and the points on the board are the points on the board.
Yeah,
and all of those players, most of them were there last year too, and it didn't matter. And at some point you got to cut your losses and go in a different direction. You know, you don't want to be like we saw with the Titans for the last number of years, where it's like, oh, we've got all these players, we can't afford to lose them. It's like, why? Because you don't want to miss out on 14th place. Like, what the fuck?
Yeah, we don't want to win any more games.
Yeah.
Next is the Roosters. And despite the mainstream media wanking over how they're the most elite team in the competition, they're not.
They're not.
I do have them finishing 6th this year.
Oh, do you?
Yeah.
I have them finishing 9th.
Yeah, look, I don't think they're a bottom 8 side just yet, or a bottom 9 side just yet. They're trending in that direction, don't get me wrong. But I don't think they're there yet. So long as you've got Tedesco in your side, you're never going to be a team that's going to be struggling to be competitive.
He's another year older, though.
He is, but it's not like he's showing it. That's the thing. Whereas Daly Cherry Evans is like, he's 51. He's almost my age.
Yeah.
And he was showing it last year.
Yeah.
And
if Daly Cherry... I think it's 50-50 Daly Cherry Evans is still playing when Origin runs around.
I wouldn't be surprised, because...
And everyone retires. It's nothing against him.
No.
It's like...
And look,
like
I would say this.
Retired.
I believe that they brought him to the club not to be a player, but to be a coach for Savala and any other young halves they've got coming through. Because it feels cruel that after what Savala did since he's made his debut for this club, that he now gets pushed to the bench or gets pushed to the lower grades, because he is an NRL quality player right now.
Yeah.
And he should be in a 7 jumper.
But then they've got Sam Walker, who they love. They'll
just put him at 5'8".
But as gifted as he is as a playmaker, he is so, and I don't even like saying he's fragile, because he's not. He just gets smashed up in these games, and we've talked about it the last 3 years, and it keeps happening again and again to the young dude. And if Daly Cherry Evans is his backup, or the third guy in a 3-man halves rotation, at least that's something for them, because Walker is going to get injured. He just is.
Yeah. It's It's an interesting one. I don't know what the concept there was. As I said, I assume it was to help, coach and mentor Savala and a few other young halves they might have coming through the side. Also, they brought in Reece Robson.
Yeah.
I mean, it's an upgrade on Brandon Smith.
Yeah.
It shouldn't be an upgrade on Brandon Smith, but Brandon Smith had decided that he can't be fuck playing NRL football anymore. He just wants the cash.
Yeah, and that's all right. But
that's
still,
fine. I wish I could do that.
Yeah, that'd be awesome, hey? Imagine going into your boss and saying, listen, I know we had an agreement. I just don't want to. So I'm just going to hang around here for a bit, and you're going to pay me.
Yeah, simple as that. It's a good deal. I signed the paperwork, so that's what you got to do anyway.
Meanwhile, Zach Lomax is out there going, paperwork? What's that?
I don't bother with that.
Do you agree with the whoever it was in the corporate media that said that the Roosters have the best forward pack in the league?
No.
Oh shit!
It's not atrocious. It's not the worst one.
Nah, but the best.
I would say that for all round quality in the starting side and on the bench, I would say the Sharks shits over the Roosters one.
I'd take the Panthers, the Broncos. I'd take the Storm in a big game. It's just their forward packs I'm talking about.
Yeah.
I'd take the Bulldogs. I'd probably take the Sharks, Sharks forward pack. I don't know about the Raiders because they fold when it matters. But like that, what did I name? Five then?
Yeah.
It's crazy. Some of the things you hear coming out of the corporate media is a fucking crazy. Like, it's just like, you got to wonder if they watch the game.
Couldn't believe how brazen that comment was. I could believe how stupid it was. Couldn't believe how brazen it was. And I'm not going to sit here and say that shit. I do think that they're still as I said, I think they're still going to be in the finals this year.
Yeah.
And
they're all right.
That's where they'll be. But they're not a top 5 forward pack.
No. I have the Roosters missing out. I think it's because injuries are going to hit them in the halves with Walker, unfortunately. I think that Tedesco's another year older, and how long can he keep carrying them to wins?
Did you not say that last year?
I did, yeah, and they proved me wrong. But like Ricky Stewart, it wasn't that I was wrong. It was that the universe hates me. And so...
Hey, that's a fair cop. I'll give you that.
So we'll see what happens. But yeah, what did I have them finish 9th? And like we talked about earlier with the Dolphins, I think it's going to be really close towards the end of the top 8. I think it could come down to for and against. Yeah,
that's fair.
Also, there's another element with the Roosters.
Mm-hmm.
Fuck them.
I must admit, I'd been waiting for that one.
Yeah, fuck them. Shouldn't exist.
So next we've got is the Warriors.
I like the way I can say that. You're just like, it's like, yeah, okay, moving on.
I mean,
whole club shouldn't exist. You're like, now we've got the Warriors.
Yeah, the Warriors. Did you say something controversial?
No, I didn't.
No, that's we just move on. Next up is the Warriors, and they were going great until they lost their halfback last year.
Mm-hmm.
And then they kind of just switched off for quite a while.
Yeah.
So hopefully Metcalf stays fit this year for the whole season, and we'll get to see what they could have done last year. They've picked up Cam Pereira. Is basically their big signing for the year. He's going to be on the wing, which is going to help them an awful lot because that kid knows how to score tries.
Yeah.
They've got plenty of good kicking options in the halves as well, with Harris Savita and Metcalf. So I think there'll be plenty of opportunities that way for him. They have lost a few forwards, as we mentioned before. Bunty Afoa, Tom Ale, Kalani Going, Malala Graham Taufa, Morgan Harper, Ed Kosi, Freddie Lussick have all left the club. So they've lost a fair bit of depth there. But despite that, I still have them finishing 5th this year.
I have them finishing 7th. I could have made a good case for them missing the finals, but I'm banking on their halves staying there the entire season. And also, one of my favourite players in the whole competition, Aaron Clark, plays for them. As I say, he's got the name of a secretary, but he's an absolute fucking world beater. He's an amazing player. And I think that what I'm hoping is that what they did at the start of last year, they build upon that. That's what I'm banking on.
Yeah, likewise. And I think horrible luck losing Metcalf midway through the year.
Yeah.
They didn't completely fold, but their attack was half as good. So they had to rely on grinding football to get the rest of the season in and get to the finals.
Yeah, and any team would have been the same, I think. You take your starting halfback out of any team for the whole season like that, and, you're going to struggle. Unless you've got some, whiz kid on the bench that you're lucky enough to have, and not many teams have someone like that.
Yeah, and look, they haven't changed their squad too much, which helps. As I said, they've only lost a bit of depth. They've only replaced basically one winger, so that helps. They should help them get off to another good start again. And finally, we've got the West Tigers.
Yes.
Now, everyone in the media has been talking about how they're going to make the finals this year. Mm-hmm. And I've been I think I said in the last episode that I don't think they're going to make the finals.
Mm.
I'm trying to be as grounded as possible.
Mm-hmm.
And I've got them finishing 8th.
Oh, you've got them in the 8th. I have them finishing 8th.
See, I think they're going to be in a struggle for that position with Canberra, the Dolphins, Parramatta, and South.
Yeah, I have them in a race with the Dolphins, the Roosters, and to a lesser extent the Eels, and the Warriors. I've got the Warriors ahead of them by one, but I think the Warriors will secure their place a little earlier. I like their recruitment. I like the look of their forward pack. I like the development of some of the younger players. I like the experienced players they've got in their team. They're led by a real winner in the halves in Luai. There's just a lot to like about it. And I think looking at when you and me were skeptical about Benji as a coach, as much as we love him, I think that he has so far proven to be quite a steady influence on his football team.
I would say astute.
Yeah, and he's moved them in the right direction. And keeping in mind, he started with nothing. Mm-hmm. He started with literally nothing. And you look at what he started with and where they're at now. The board is a fucking shambles. But look at where they were when he took over from Tim Sheens, who just, I don't know, quit. It's
Tim Sheens doesn't quit, okay? The club quit him.
Tim Sheens walks in and says, "I've made a big decision. You're going to pay me out."
I really want a Veyron.
Yeah. So if you just look at it that way, what he started with and where he's at, unbelievable, a minor miracle. And so I hope they make the finals. I think they've got the team to make the finals. They just need to be able to. They just need a little bit of injury luck, and I think they'll make it. Pretty good.
Let's hope so.
Okay, I got a question for you as a long-suffering West Tigers fan, right? You have them in 8th, which I know for you is like, it's a dance with the devil saying that. Right? That's like tempting fate. In fact, I would go as far as to say if they don't make the finals, it's on you, right?
I can live with that.
Okay. Because
no one else is expecting them in the
no one else at the West Tigers has ever taken fucking any responsibility. You might as well.
Why should I start?
In an ideal season with this team, right? With these players, ideal. Things just go right for them, good start. Origin time, they don't lose too many players and stuff. What's the highest you could see them finishing?
9th.
Ninth.
Yeah.
But you picked them at 8.
I know. And look, a lot of that is down to the fact that I think there are some teams out there that have, that are going to be around that group from 7th down to 11th and 12th, who should be pushing higher up given the base that they're working with. But their recruitment hasn't been good enough. There was no advancement in their performances last year. And as you said before with the Dragons, if you're stagnant, you're going backwards.
Mm-hmm.
And they've caught up to that group that's stagnant. And while they're moving forwards, they're all stagnant going backwards. They're kind of just going to sneak ahead. That's kind of the mentality I got there. But I think I say ninth not because it's a talent thing. It's because there's so many young players in this side. There's been so much churn in the roster for so many years that nothing is settled. This year is the closest they're going to get to settled, and they've still had changes to the squad. Not as many, but some. So this is probably the most settled they've been for a while. It's going to help. The problem they've got now is there's now talk that they're going to put Adam Dewey at halfback. That worries me, not because I don't think he's good enough, but because, I'd have preferred it if the halfback who was there last year was in the role now. Either make it Luai or make it, young Fino, who was playing really, really well there as well. Put him there.
Yeah.
I don't know what they're trying to do in that role. Other than that, it's only just because it's such a young side. I think if a young side, and this team has a lot of young players in it, I think if they get to the finals too fast, and we saw this with the West Tigers in 05, goes to the head a little bit quick, and then they're in the wilderness for another 5-6 years. And I think Benji, having been a key part of that 05 side, is aware of that. And I think he'd be pushing them to be competitive, but not, keeping them grounded at the same time and making sure that when we get there, it's not going to be a one-off flash in the pan thing. We want to get to the finals and we want to make it there. That's our fucking home for the next few years. Yeah. And stay there instead of we just got to get there.
I think it'll definitely help them to have someone like a Luai at the club too, that if they do get to the finals this year, he's going to be like, you haven't even started the hard stuff, Yeah. It's just the beginning. It's not an end destination, because there is going to be a feeling at that club once they've made the finals for the first time in over a decade. There is going to be like some sort of celebration, and they're going to have to keep a lid on it if it happens. So, that'll be interesting to see. How
it will be hard because especially when you get a young team making the finals for the first time, what would be 15 years. They're going to have a bunch of bandwagon supporters riding them as well, which is you're not going to be avoid that.
Yeah.
So it is interesting. By saying that I think they'll finish 9th this year, I do believe that, if this year goes well, and 8, 9 or 10 for me is well, then they will be playing finals football next year.
Yeah.
Like, without doubt.
The fucking arrogance of you.
I know, right?
God. How dare you?
I'm going to be talking about winning 4 games in a row, the same way you talk about winning 4 premierships in a row.
Wow. I wouldn't have started doing this podcast with you if I knew you were going to be this fucking arrogant.
You know what us boomers are like.
Once you hit your mid-50s, fuck.
Yeah, it's like, fuck everyone's opinion. It's mine or no one's. You're not going to get fucked.
Oh, shit.
Now, look, I did just ask Grok to tell us what they think the final ladder will look like.
Okay.
And this is a computer that is fucking clueless. I don't know why people have got this impression that AI is going to take over the world, because you got to check out what this stupid fucking thing has said.
Okay.
Not all of it's wrong, just some of it.
Okay.
1, Penrith. 2, Brisbane. 3, Melbourne. Yeah, can't argue with that.
Yeah, it's my top 3, but in a different order.
4, Roosters.
Ugh.
5, Raiders. 6, Bulldogs. 7 South.
Whoa.
And so at this point, I'm asking myself, what has Cronulla done wrong? I know they haven't been like playing grand finals and stuff, but they haven't actually been easy beats either.
Yeah. When you say what's Cronulla done wrong, are we going to Wikipedia that or?
I'm sure we've got listeners who'll do that for us. Hi, Glenn.
Yeah, Glenn loves them.
8th is Cronulla.
Mm-hmm.
9th is Parramatta. 10 is the Cowboys. 11 is the Dolphins. 12 is the Warriors. 13 is Manly. 14 is the Knights. 15th is the Tigers. 16th is the Dragons. And last place is the Titans.
I mean, it's not horrible, and I can see where it probably come up with some of those, like, say, the West Tigers. It's going on, historical, they're going to be towards the end. But, yeah, there's a couple of them that I don't agree with.
So
we should save it. We should save it and see who's close to it. Like you, me, or was it Grok you used?
Yeah, Grok.
Okay.
Yeah. I think we can safely say, though, that AI is not taking anyone's jobs anytime soon.
Nah.
I mean, other than Buzz Rothfield's, who it's already taken.
Yeah, that wasn't difficult.
No. It just
had to be awake.
Sober.
Yeah, still hard. Andrew. You don't act like all of these journalists said drunks. It's just most of them.
I didn't say that. I was just coughing. I do that a lot. So I think too, a day or two after our last episode, another English side died.
Yeah, who was it? It was Halifax Panthers.
Halifax. So England had lost essentially Salford, Featherstone, and Halifax in the space of 90 days, and only one of them had enough time to come back, and that was Salford.
Yep.
And I believe another one is struggling.
Was it Barrow?
I think it was Barrow was on the.
Let me have a look. Hang on. It's Barrow. Barrow put out a statement today saying that they've got financial concerns because of the draw is not allowing them to make money at home. And of course, I tweeted that English Rugby League's collapsing because, 4 clubs collapse. That feels like a collapse to me. And people started saying, oh, it's just because of their draw and stuff. And it's like, what type of business are you running where the draw can be bad for you? And you're like, well, we're financially fucked.
I mean, I'll give them credit. They sound like a team called the Raiders.
Yeah. It's crazy, though, how many of their clubs are just falling over. It's like it seems like there's one every couple of weeks.
Yeah,
and they don't really care.
With teams that have been around for so long as well.
I
don't know. A part of you thinks that those should be the ones that are a little bit better off because historically they've survived everything. And the ones that constantly fold are the ones that have been flash in the pan, ones that brought along, like Crusaders and stuff like that.
Yeah. Well, look, if you've got 120-year head start, you should make something of it, hey?
You should have a few shekels in the tin. Yeah.
You should have some, be really good if some of their clubs had some assets, eh?
Like Bradford. Well, I mean, they've got both a TV and hockey straps. And an extension lead. You put those three together.
I bet it's one of those.
You've got about 400 pounds.
I bet it's one of those TVs from a company you've never heard of, hey? It's like you'll go up and you say, what type of TV is that? And it's just a bunch of letters. You're like, that doesn't even make a word.
Yeah, AWA, but with some other logo on there. BWA, Bradford. Yes, it's a bit of a rough going over there in England at the moment. Throw that in with the fact that the Challenge Cup has currently been played. And some of the scorelines so far in the Challenge Cup have been, how would you say, not close. What are some we got here? From the first week, Thaddo Heath beat Seaton 78-10. That's one of the easy, the nicer ones. Keighley beat Hewer 66-0. Barrow beat Wigan 76-4. Widnes beat Thaddeus Heath 76-0. Rochdale 60-0 over Waterhead. And then we get to London Broncos beat the West Warriors 86-0. North Wales Crusaders beat Bedford Tigers 110-0. Halifax, when they were alive, beat London Chargers 88-0.
Yeah, and then they died. What the fuck?
Oldham beat Oral St James 58-0. Midlands Hurricanes beat Aberavon Fighting Irish 110-0. That was in week 2. And then in week 3, had St Helens beat Workington Town 98-2. Hull KR beat Loch Lane 104-0. These are great for rugby league.
I know. Imagine, it's just so entertaining.
And then Wigan had a scorigami. They beat Rochdale Hornets 83-0.
Nice.
Because you need a field goal in that game.
Yep.
And Wakefield beats Swinton Lions 82-6. You know who likes big scores though?
PVL.
He loves it. Entertaining.
Yeah.
Bringing in the crowds.
Yeah.
Yeah. What crowd did Wigan get for that game? Oh, St Helens got 4,000 for that game where they put on 98 points against Workington. It was great. The crowd loved it.
Did you see that there was a recommendation that they maybe move the Challenge Cup final from Wembley
to?
Oh, well, we all know it's going to be somewhere in northern England.
Fox's Biscuit Stadium.
Anytime you can contract the game, you've got to do it. Because up in the north, that's where the game's strong, and you can tell that that's where the clubs are dying.
That's a good argument.
Yeah. I mean, you don't see clubs dying in the south of England, do you?
You don't see clubs in the south of England.
Exactly. You've got to have the clubs to die.
That's right.
To be strong.
That's a very strong argument. I can't argue with that. There's no holes in that. Yeah.
So that was one of the recommendations. I actually watched a number of Super League games this week from the first round.
How'd you find it?
It was interesting. I like the Toulouse looked prepared for Super League. They looked really good. They had a close win over Wakefield. I watched Hull. Who did Hull play against? Hull played Bradford. I actually said the Hull didn't look like a professional football team. I don't know what they do over the off season, but it's kind of crazy. Their players either look too small or too heavy, and they barely beat a Bradford team that looked like a club that was thrown together over the last 6 weeks, because they literally were. And I had some Hull fans that were upset about that, and it's like, what you must have watched it. I had one person that was following me on Twitter that said, I'm at the game, and I agree with you. This looks terrible. We don't look good at all. So I don't expect Hull's going to have a good year. I watched a little bit of Wigan versus Castleford, and Castleford started off pretty good. Wigan got on top and sort of stayed there, so I stopped watching the rest of that game. So, and York won their first Super League game over Hull KR. Hull KR, they had Mikey Lewis got charged with a tripping offence, and it also looked like he bit someone in the game, allegedly, but he didn't get charged for that.
No, that's perfectly fine. It was an accident.
Yeah. And but he went with the tripping offence, and he got off with that, funnily enough, at the judiciary, so he can play that really important game. That it's super important, and you can know that because they're going to play it on a Thursday night in February against the Broncos.
And where's it being played at?
It's been played in Hull. Nice neutral venue.
That's what you want.
Also, referee, English ref.
Also, Catalans beat Huddersfield Giants. Lee Leopards beat Leeds. Warrington beat St Helens. They're making sure they get the big wins over the big sides early so they can choke at the end of the season. That's good. True to form. And Toulouse beat Wakefield 18-16.
Toulouse looked really good, hey? I was surprised.
Yeah, I've only seen the highlights, but they did look very, very much ready for Super League, as you said.
Yeah, really prepared. I was really impressed with them.
Defence didn't yield too under a bit of pressure. It was they were pretty impressive.
Yeah, and look, Wakefield wasn't bad, it's just Toulouse looked really well prepared. That was the thing that come across to me. So it was good to see them win.
Yeah, that's good. So we've got the English stuff out of the way.
Mm-hmm.
We've got some more trial games this weekend, I believe. Or is it just one?
I think we've got a bunch of them. I actually haven't looked at the trial games for this weekend, so let's.
I saw something briefly from the NRL
Yes.
saying that the West Tigers were still in chance of winning something. I was like, it's trial season. What is there to win? I went, oh yeah, that's right. They've got that pre-season trial challenge cup thing where they win 35 bob or something like that.
Yeah, I can't remember what the name of it is.
Yeah, you win the chook raffle if you get the top of the ladder. What are they throwing at them? Pre-season challenge.
It's just I don't know why they do it, but anyway. So Friday we've got Warriors versus Dolphins. That'll be good to see the Warriors, see how they go. The Dolphins too, like I'm more interested to see the Warriors in that one. Oh, it's West Tigers versus Panthers Friday night.
Sucked in, Frankie. Your team's going to get shit on.
I wonder if we're going to name anyone this week. Last week we named they brought up a stat that showed the total NRL games played between the two squads. And for the Cowboys, it was like just under 2,000 games.
Yep.
All up. And for the Panthers, it was 11. It was pretty crazy.
Looking here on the team list, both sides have named full strength lineups.
Yeah.
And then just a bunch of junior, Reggies as well. So wouldn't be surprised if all the starting players play for about 30 minutes and then they all get benched.
See how we go, yeah. So that might be one to actually watch. It's, when you like to see at least the first graders go at it for a little bit.
When's it on? Friday? Oh, I'll be here for that.
Friday night. Oh, nice. You'll be able to sit back and what do you drink when you watch a footy game? Because I know you don't drink alcohol. So what do you tend to go with?
It depends. If I'm just watching the footy, then I'll probably drink something mild, like I've been having to drink, Gatorade and stuff like that recently because I get a bit of cramps at work and stuff after.
All right, yeah.
So it's either that if I'm just going to watch the footy and then go to bed. If I'm going to start and do some RLP stuff, then I'll probably have a monster drink.
Jesus.
Yeah. Stay up till 4, just smashing through history.
Oh shit! I don't know what that porn site's called, history, but anyway.
I'll link you.
Sharks versus Raiders Saturday Arvo. That'll be an interesting one, I guess. All I know is that the Raiders got fucked out of that if they lost.
Oh, horrible! Yeah, it's a road trip for them too, so that's horrible. That's got their season off to a bad start.
Draw fucked them.
Yep.
Draw fucked them.
Yep.
Roosters versus Eels. That'll be an interesting one to watch. Storm versus Titans shouldn't be interesting, but it'd be nice to watch Storm get a run. And then Rabbitohs versus Sea Eagles on Sunday afternoon.
Glad I'm at work for that one.
Yeah, I might go to work with you for that one. So they're all the trial games this weekend. They changed the state of origin eligibility.
Yes.
Did you see that?
I did. I heard about it.
They're doing this thing where tier 1 nations, so it was basically New Zealand and England. If you represented them, you couldn't play in the state of origin series. Well, now you can.
Yes.
So it really only affects a couple of players, really. And most of them, it doesn't matter. And Fanua Blake's one. He qualifies for New South Wales.
Yeah, so the official wording here from the NRL is, as you said, previously players were required to be eligible to represent Australia or a Tier 2 nation as defined by the International Rugby League. The updated rules remove this restriction, allowing players who represent Tier 1 nations and who meet the traditional state of origin criteria to now be eligible. And those traditional state of origin criteria is the player was born in New South Wales or Queensland, or the player resided in New South Wales or Queensland prior to their 13th birthday, or their player's father played state of origin.
So really it's the ones that I've seen that are actual state of origin quality players. And Fanua Blake, who I don't even know if he'd put his hand up for New South Wales. He might, but he might also say, no, it's not for me. Baden for Blake for New South Wales. Cullen Ponga obviously would be able to play for Queensland and then play for the Kiwis if he wanted to, which I think will happen, actually. I saw Britton Nakora. He was one for, I believe, Queensland.
Yes.
And the only other one that was AJ Brimson for Queensland, but I don't know that they'd pick him at the moment. They've got a lot of fullback options.
Yeah, not
and then the other one,
Walsh and Ponga.
I just can't imagine he's going to get in that side anyway. And then the other one was, oh my God, who was it? I just had their name in my head. Victor Radley, and he's not playing for New South Wales. Like that's what we're talking about. That's the level it goes to really quickly, you know.
We can joke about Knights players getting a call up from the Johns factor, but I tell you what, random Roosters players getting a call up that don't deserve it. It's a close second on that list.
Yeah, that's very true. That's very true. I guess where this would help is maybe if you wanted to play Star of Origin but you qualified for England, there's like Ethan Strange, I think, is one of those players. But I don't think it really makes much of a difference. But and for Noah Blake is obviously a huge one, because if he's playing in the front row with Payne Haas for New South Wales, that's absolutely gigantic. For
fucking good luck.
My God, So we'll see what happens with that. I didn't really feel neither here nor there about that change, but all I tweeted about it was that I look forward to it being changed again in 3 years' time when someone has some sort of whim that they're on. They're like, oh, we want this player to change. They'll change it from 13 to 15, and then all of a sudden, 100 extra players are involved or something. I don't know.
That actually does go nicely to the next topic, and that is the NRL has extended the bench for teams this year as well. So you still get the 4 players on the field, but you've got 2 emergency reserves instead of just 1.
Yeah.
And so the only people who I saw in unison complaining about it were the passionate Supercoach players. Oh no, this fucks up how we're going to pick our players. It's just a game. Just calm down.
Yeah, I've got to be careful with Supercoach because I'm not involved in it at all. And if I get involved in it, I'll end up with spreadsheets and be studying all week. So I can't do it. It's just one of those things I can't do.
I do Supercoach the same way I do footy tipping. Barely. I start off with great intention. I'm all motivated. I'm keen. I do all the hard work at the start. And then after 3 weeks, I can't be fucked doing this. I've got other shit I need to do instead.
We're actually doing our tip and comp again. I started up the tip and comp again on the NRL website.
Oh, yes. I better join that.
Yeah, I'll repost it on the Twitter feed at some point. We've got a couple of weeks before the season starts, so it's no rush. But yeah, so it might actually just all be automatic. But I know you need to rejoin. So if you're in it last year, people need to rejoin again. So yeah, and everyone's welcome. Everyone, absolutely everyone. So it'll be interesting to see how that goes.
And you know what? For the last year, I decided to do something different with the footy tipping because every year prior to that, I was doing it every week.
Yeah.
And sometimes I forget a week or forget a few games or do it too late. And I just had a horrible record. So last year I thought, fuck it. I'm going to do all my tips for the entire year at the start of the year.
Yeah.
So I meant I got all my tips in, but I did worse.
Yeah.
So I've come up with a better idea this year.
Right.
I'm going to put my tips in at the end of the season.
At the end.
I'm going to fucking win.
You're going to be great. That's an awesome idea.
I'm a genius.
What if you do them week by week, right? But every time that you haven't done them, I literally call you on a Thursday night at about 7:45. So you got 15 minutes before the first game kicks off. I'm like, Andrew, you got to do your tips, and then just hang up.
I've got a feeling that system would get abused, and I'd be getting phone calls when you finish putting the podcast episode up every week at about 4:30 in the morning. Andrew, you're going to put your tips in. I'm going, fuck, I've got to get up in an hour.
You know what it would be most fucked up to do is you put your tips in, and then I still call you just before the Thursday night game. So you got to put your tips in and say like, I thought I did. What the fuck? And then you run into your computer and it's like, I fucking did. Fuck.
Hey, first of all, thank you for saying that I still run. With my with my back and my hip and the walking frame and God, man.
It's all right. You know what's probably weird to people that are listening is the knowledge that you and me have maybe. How many phone calls have we made to each other since we've done this podcast? Like 4 or 5, maybe.
Yeah, there's not many.
Yeah, like hardly any. It's because we're men.
That's right.
Men don't talk.
If I see a phone call coming in from anybody, I go, no.
You see a phone call coming in and it's like, someone better be dead.
Yeah. And I answer it, even though I know it's you. It's like, hello? I'll talk. Every answer is a question. Hello?
Yeah. Hello? You're expecting someone to say, there's a dead guy here at his mobile phone. You were the first name on it.
Like, yeah, I don't know you. Fuck off. Yeah. There's not been many phone calls. I mean, we're peeling the curtain back here. There's never any work done prior to an episode unless it's a history episode.
Yeah.
Like today, we spoke for nearly an hour about all sorts of goddamn fucking shit, including footy stuff. It was a great episode. I know we're talking about the episodes we do off air. We legit do episodes off air and never record them. So the way we look at it is, there's one episode for you, there's one episode for us.
Yeah, exactly.
And we get the better one.
We get the one full of libelous material.
Yeah, get it out of the way. And that's our warm-up session. Yeah, there's very little preparation done here. It's not like you could tell.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's a peeling back of the curtain moment there. Now, I'm going to ask you a question completely unprepared.
Okay.
Have you had any emails?
No. We did have some emails at the end of the year from Glenn. We should do them next week, right? They're going to be dated.
How many has he got?
He sent about 2 or 3.
Okay.
But we just got we did one episode that we had locked in, and we'll get to his next week, and then we didn't podcast for 3 weeks or something, then something popped up and we did that one, and it just has been bad timing.
Well, Glenn, if Glenn can put out a few more emails, and maybe a few other people get in there, we could just do an emails episode. Or if Glenn just sends in a heap, we can just answer Glenn's emails.
Yeah. So it's podcast@leaguefreak.com. It's the email address.
Yeah.
Glenn normally tells us, he sort of says stuff like, Paul Gallen, was on this and shouldn't have got that, and we're like, geez, we can't say that in a pod, because you couldn't say something like that on a podcast,
Well, not until we get Chemist Warehouse on as a sponsor.
Yeah, that would be good. But yeah, it's so if you want to send an email in, and just email about anything you want, really.
Yeah.
Just
food hacks,
ask a question. Food hacks, relationship advice, we give that. Any reviews you want of anything that's been done or consumed or anything like that.
Movies.
Hey?
Movies.
Yeah, lots of movies. I've watched a lot of movies over the off season, lots of different ones. And so we'll just answer your emails, because that's what we're here for.
Solving real crime problems. We can do that.
Yeah, we'll tell you where Amelia Earhart is.
Yeah. We'll give you the coordinates. We know this stuff.
Sasquatch,
yeah.
Yeti, the abominable snowman.
Yeah. Gordon Tallis.
Oh shit! Good times.
Good times. So you just give him a little bit of wax.
Yeah.
Comes up like new.
I wonder if Gordon Tallis is going to be in the media cycle this year. I haven't seen him for a while. Hey.
You know why?
Why?
Because they have to put the mute button on his microphone every time he starts breathing or stops talking. I reckon this should happen.
Can I just say on let's start trashing media. Anytime I see a clip from SEN, my God, it's always like, what the fuck? They've run out of things to talk about.
Yeah, I'm finding that with a lot of the mainstream media stuff at the moment. Yeah, I find myself going on social media even less and less, and I get on there and I just go, look at all of this shit.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Oh.
I like it when they all congratulated their boss on the career. That was funny.
Nobody else jumped in.
No one else gave a fuck. They're the only people in the world, right, who go, well, it's the end of an era. Time to move on. And it's like, no one gives a fuck, you idiot.
They're all sitting there like doing valet ceremonies like he's passed away, and they're all shedding a tear. Oh, it's been great. And everyone else is at the back with cartons of beer in hand going, ah!
Yeah, just so weird to see.
The divide is insane.
They're so wrapped up in themselves. It's incredible.
Oh, they're almost like politicians.
Yeah.
Let's not go there. Hey,
no, let's not.
Formula One testing is currently underway or just finished?
Yeah. I actually watched live testing. It's the off season. I had to watch something, so I watched a bit of the live testing. Yeah, I know, right? And it's going to be interesting to see how these cars go. They look nice. You can definitely tell they're smaller. The drivers have complained about them, which I understand. There's going to be so much management being done with the batteries. It's going to be really weird.
Have you seen how the new DRS sort of thing it is they've got on their works?
Yeah. It's interesting. I saw what team was it? Okay, it's Alpine. So most of the teams with their rear and front wings, when they come onto the straight, they flick straight down really quickly.
Yeah.
Apparently, Alpines, instead of flicking straight down, it sort of does it. It does it quick, but it does it a bit more progressively, and they reckon that gives them more stability in their car when they accelerate, which is interesting.
Stability is not what they need; it's speed is what they need.
That's a good point. Be funny if someone at Alpine's watching and they're like, "No, we just had a bit of a sticky fucking actuator that day." But so that was one thing I saw. There's a real concern at the moment about the starting procedures that cars have to do, because they have to go onto the starting grid and actually rev the cars pretty hard for quite a long time to get the turbo spun up so that they can then accelerate off the line normally.
Oh, that's right. They changed the engine, didn't they? They removed there was an engine component they've completely removed from the cars this year.
Well, basically, the power comes 50-50 from the battery and from the engine itself. And the way that they use both is it's really dramatic this year.
Yeah, it's supposed to be like your standard hybrid car where the electric part of the battery is used to start the car up and get it to accelerate, and the internal combustion engine with the petrol part is about adding on speed and going faster and stuff like that. Kind of like that, and the separate batteries running each wheel. That's how they get all this extra horsepower and stuff like that out of them.
Well, apparently Ferrari early last year said there's going to be a problem with the starts and we need to fix it. We need to fix the regulations. And the FIA and the other teams basically looked at it and said, no, we're not doing that. Well, Ferrari kind of have worked on it, and they have worked out how to rev up their engine for less time to get it to work properly. Whereas the other teams are having to rev their engine for a lot longer than that. And there's a concern that we might have lots of cars stalling on the starting grid, which is obviously a nightmare when you've got a bunch of cars. Even one car stalled on the grid is really scary situation. So there's that concern. The other concern they're having is that the way that they're having to build their battery power back up is by coasting into a corner, sometimes 200 or 300 meters from a corner.
Mm-hmm.
So that's a dramatic difference between that and speeding down into the corner and then slamming in with your brakes. Not slamming in with your brakes, but you know what I mean. You hit your brakes at a normal braking distance. Well, if you get cars that some of them are using their extra battery power at the end of the straight, some of them are trying to gain battery power at the end of the straight, or some of them just aren't having to do either of those things and doing normal braking. You could have dramatically different braking points for different cars that are hundreds of meters different. And we've seen that be a problem in the past where there's been a really fast car behind a slower car, and the slower car has to hit their brakes earlier, and the fast car just goes up their ass because it's just dramatically different speeds that they need. So that's another concern that they're having. So we'll see how that all plays out. Hopefully they get it all sorted out.
Or just have carnage. That'll be interesting.
What they need to do is put heaps of bubble wrap on the front and the back of the cars.
Or just a rocket.
Just put a rocket on them.
Just put a rocket on there, like Roadrunner Wile E. Coyote. Just put a big red rocket on the back and light it up and let it go.
Imagine if you were allowed one rocket per race.
Yeah.
You could. How about this? This is like my coach's challenge things. One rocket every 3 races. So you've got to really pick and choose where you use it. So it's like, look, I might use my rocket in this race, but he's probably quicker than me. He might overtake me again. Or if it's like, I'm definitely quicker than this guy, I'm going to use my rocket.
Yeah. That'd be great. That's good strategy.
Yeah. Maybe put it, instead of like putting it on the back of the car, you put it like right on the top of the car, like right up above the roll bar.
The halo.
Yeah. You can't put it on halo because you incinerate the driver. But
they're just collateral anyway.
That'd be like Lance Stroll on the warm-up lap. It's like he's used his rocket in a fucking chicane. Fuck.
In the chicane, in the wet, on the parade lap. And he's put it into the wall.
He was in the fucking garage.
He's actually on the toilet at the time.
So yeah, they're the things that I've got out of testing. I think that I personally think Mercedes is going to be hard to beat this year. There's a lot of talk that Red Bull has done very well with their new engine manufacturer Ford, and they're going to be pretty good, and they've been playing it a bit safe so far, and so they might be quicker than normal. I don't know about McLaren, but they use Mercedes engines, so they're probably going to be good too. But I tend to think it's Mercedes is going to be hard to beat this year, but we'll see.
We will see. That's what's exciting. That's coming up soon too. So
yeah,
they got like 407 races this year. It's going to be great.
Yeah, I can't wait. Races when's the season start? In a couple of weeks' time, and then every 30 seconds after that, there's a new race until we end in some fucking Middle Eastern country that doesn't have fucking anything except sand and roads.
I mean, they'll eventually just have like 3 races at once.
Why not?
Let's see, where's the schedule? Here it is, Bahrain. Wow. Oh, that's testing, right. Okay. Round 1, Australia, 6th to the 8th of March.
You should go to it.
No.
Why not?
Because I've got to feed the kids, you see.
Ah, damn it.
Have you seen how much it costs to go to the Formula 1?
I talked to Nadine about this last year at some point, and she was saying how it's cheaper to go to a race overseas than it is to go to see the Melbourne Grand Prix. Mm-hmm. And I was like, there's no way. And I looked it up, and it was way, way cheaper. Way cheaper.
So look, the Brabham Grandstand, Turn 1. You can get a 4-day pass for all 4 games. That's $825.
Jesus Christ.
The one just for the race day, $645.
How much is do they still do general pass where you can get in and just walk around?
What would that be? Park pass. General admission. Here we go. The 4-day pass, general admission, is $385.
My God.
On race day, it's $210.
That's ridiculous.
On qualifying day only, it's $160. On Friday testing, $90. Or practice, sorry. And on Thursday, practice, $45.
That's crazy.
It's not even that much. I don't think there's any practice on Thursday. It'll be just some sort of, I don't know. It's probably the bloke who drives the safety car just does a lap. $45, thanks.
$45.
Yeah.
Man, that's insane.
It's pretty aggressive price stands. Oh, look, they've got a Ricardo grandstand and a Piastri grandstand.
Oh, nice. I looked up at the end of last year, and like I think the Singapore Grand Prix is the cheapest one to go to from an Australian point of view, and it was a lot cheaper all up. So that was disappointing. The other thing was it was like in the third week of the NRL final series, so it's like out of the question.
Yeah, TV.
yeah, TV's fine.
That will work fine. All right. Well, I guess we should put this little baby to bed.
Yeah. It's been a good episode. It's been fun to get the season preview out the way.
We've got it all out of the way.
Who's going to win the grand final?
Should I be bold or should I be sensible? I'll do a bit of both. Let's say I'll go sensible. I'm going to say Penrith beats Brisbane in the grand final.
Yeah.
And I'll be bold and I'll say Cronulla beats the Tigers in the grand final.
Oh, wow. Shit.
Let's say bold.
I tend to be leaning towards Penrith to win the grand final as well. But I think if they play the grand final, it's weirdly going to be against Melbourne again, and that they'll have to have beaten the Broncos in the preliminary final again. So, yeah.
Penrith will want to hope that they don't come against the Tigers in the finals because that will end their run.
Yeah, worst record against the Tigers.
So, mate, they just choke.
They're our Achilles heel.
Both of them.
That's what I was going to say in when you look down through the history of the game, and he was like, then Penrith won 4 straight grand finals, but the Tigers had the wood on them.
The last place Tigers.
Remember when the Eels thought they had the wood on us, and then we took their soul out of their chest and ate it in front of them?
Yeah, and then they never ever got it back.
Nah.
That was glorious. Is one way to put it.
That was beautiful. It was really beautiful.
Well, on that high note, yeah, you've left us on a high note there. We're going to take that opportunity. Thanks for tuning in, everyone. You can check us out on all the socials. Make sure you like and subscribe to everything we've got on YouTube. That'd be fantastic.